and when you get on, he gonna leave your ass for a white girl. So listen, was Kanye spitting facts, or is this trauma? Is it truth or is it trauma? I'm leaning towards trauma. Let's get into this. On your way in, hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm. And of course, towards the end of the video, once you hear enough, drop a comment. I want to have this conversation.
Sometimes I wonder, how far would the black community be if black men actually loved black women or even liked them? If they didn't see them as a stepping stone or a temporary bridge, somebody to rely on until they got their success.
So let's inject some realism right here. If we're talking about in terms of one, start the facts. No, we like y'all. We like y'all. We do. We really do. Um, Secondly, where's the stepping stone? We hear all the time about how there's an expectation for a man to pay the bills. I think 74% of women say they want a man to pay all the bills, or at least majority of the bills. So that means a man's already has to be on his way or successful. And then we'll go further saying you want a man making more than six figures. All right, cool. We're going to understand. We're going to accept that that is the premise. That's what you want. That's your preference. Where is the stepping stone? He's already there. Where, at what point are you coming in to help him get there? He's there. So there's no stepping stone. There's no bridge, right? If I'm getting with you and you don't have what I have, or you have less than I have, because that's exactly what the flip of the coin is. Where are you helping me go further? And then at what point am I taking that and saying, now I'm gonna find a white woman. Now I'm gonna leave you. The fact is, look it up. You don't have to argue with me. You don't have to argue with anyone. Just look up statistics yourself. We're race loyal to like 95% in relationships. As much as we want to talk about swirling, divesting, um, girl, you're looking so good. Yeah, stop dating black men. Cool, whatever. Right? Statistically, when we're talking marriages, 95%. That's where we are. Still with the same vein of marriages, if you're talking about breaking up a marriage, 80% of it is in 80% of marriages, divorces initiated by women. Again, it's just facts. There's nothing to be upset about. This is just what it is. So, at what point am I using you for something? I fail to see where that is. I think this is simply you're looking at the larger, hyper successful individuals or the one offs. The exceptions to the rule shouldn't make the rule. But you'll look at them and say, that's what's happening, that's what's happening, that's what's happening. But you don't say mention someone like LeBron, Kendrick, right? You don't look at those and say, oh, those are black women that they've been with, always been with. You don't look at any of that. You look at the outliers and say, and cherry pick, and then accept that and let that govern a lot more of your life.
I mean, a lot of successful black men choose, after they become successful or rich, to marry someone who's a woman of no color. It's really frustrating to see them give the money right back because where your money goes is where it grows. If you're not putting it into the black community is not growing. Why take the resources that you have and put them into another community? How far would we be if they weren't so eager to run off and build with a woman of no color?
So I think our community be exactly where it is. One, we have a spending issue, the black community, where our dollar doesn't circulate a day. When we get money, it's gone. Spend money on frivolous. When we're talking about building stuff in the black community, that's a different story. It's not that we're taking our money outside of the community. And even if I'm if I marry and have kids with a white woman, the kid's not black. I think the United States kind of addressed that with one drop of black blood, right? That's we address that, so it's still in the community. Even if I remove myself and I go over there, cool. That still There still leaves a 95% that are still within the black community, still spending their money in the black community. But if you want to look at the ultra successful, the celebrity, then that's therein lies your argument. If you want to cherry pick and look at those, then well, you can do that all day. But it just lends itself to the truth is it's just trauma.
I said what I said. Y'all over here playing. and I'm going to have to back it up with examples.
We're here for
I said,
examples.
what would the black community look like if black men, successful black men, when they become successful, married black women, stayed with black women, continued to love?
See that part about when they become successful. When they become successful. I get the notion of you want to wait to you don't want to date potential. You don't have time to worry about potential. But the times when we see athletes speaking about why they end up with white women, we hear them say the same thing. They invested in them early. They scouted them out early. They saw potential and they say, I'm gonna lock in now. Now's where I can help him. When he's on the field, when he's in his craft, there's not much I can do here. Right? I can just support him and cheer him on. But now that's all his own talent, his own skill, his own business around him, negotiating better deals, better contracts, me not stressing him, me making his home life easier, me making the times he's away from home, me easing those things. But the real investment is the startup capital. When you get in on the ground floor and you help them there, we don't tend to forget that. So even when we see that you see successful black men and they're with women that you would say that doesn't match in terms of his level of success, her level of beauty, did not commiserate. Yeah, she was there in the beginning. She was there in the beginning. Whatever you want to say about the quality of the relationship, but he does this, he does whatever. She has the ring. She's on like the deed. She's on the insurance. Right? She has the W. She has the chip. That's how you get in. Our community becomes so focused on waiting to the end, waiting till he's already been there. Now he's going to have his choice. And again, still, 95% of the time, he's going to choose black. So this narrative is just it's an easy one to get behind. It's an easy one to feel bad about. And sometimes I think that's the goal. I just want to feel bad because if I'm feeling bad, I'm the victim. And a victim in our society is always innocent.
And develop and invest in black women and the black community and the black children. What would that look like? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Michael Jackson is the biggest, the biggest example that I can give you. But there's a lot more.
How how close are you right now? Right? And type it in type it in the comments. How close are you in your life, in your goals, and your success to Michael Jackson? I'm not ashamed to say I'm nowhere near. I'll never have that level of success. Right? I don't have that talent. I'm not born in that time. I, so what Michael Jackson did with his life, who he chose to be with, has no impact or bearing on me. I'm more likely to get the outcomes that my father did, that my grandfather did, that my aunts and uncles did. When we just look and say, "Oh, we're putting it on the black man again. It's a black man's fault." If you want to do that, at least be truthful in the statement. Here, this is just if, and this is what we're saying. We're looking at data, right? This is data, but it's not predictive in that sense. The generations coming up behind us, they're seeing all of this play out, and they're saying the juice is not worth the squeeze. You're seeing more and more men just checking out of dating. More and more men understanding, hey, I'll just get my passport. More men are becoming completely understanding that, yeah, interracial dating, that just may be the move because our black women are too combative. Even to women I've never met, I'm somehow automatically a problem. So they're just gonna. It's the stigma of dating outside is becoming less and less and less and less. It's just like, yeah, of course I'll do that. Of course, it's the most normal thing. We don't understand that when we get on these, when we don't get on the internet and we say these things without actually thinking about what could this cause. And it may just be a clickbaity thing that you just want, views so you can, enline your pockets, but we don't look further than that. This is part of parcel of what's wrong with the black community, what's wrong with most communities, where we just want to do something to line our own pockets and then turn around and say, what's wrong with us? I saw this other clip where this woman, I'll see if I can find it, where She was saying, when you get up here and you talk so awfully about your men, about your relationship that went bad, and you say nothing about what you did wrong, it's always his fault. You only make it harder for your sister, because she's going to go out there and she's going to date men like him. And he's watching this. He's seeing you talk bad. He's seeing someone else talk bad, talk bad. So that's another one that's checked out dating. That's that, and it's potentially a good one checked out of dating. But we don't think about this, and when we try to find what's good for the black community, what would the black community look like if we all took a second to think about what we were putting out there into the ether? I'm curious.